Hi everyone, welcome to my second vlog on skills and capacity in speed and agility. So here we have just a list of skills and capacities. On the left we have skills and on the right we have capacities. This is based on John's lecture on locomotion. So skills are more movement based, as you can see through the descriptions, and capacities are more structural based. So first of all, in this video we're going to be looking at speed. So in specific we'll be looking at the acceleration phase. So acceleration is the rate of change in velocity that allows a player to reach maximum speed. That's from Kaplan et al. 2009. Young et al. In 1995 stated that acceleration is in the first 10 meters of the sprint, and Cronin and Hansen supported that statement by saying acceleration is very short in field sports. That was in 2005. So now coming on to the athletes that I'm going to be looking at. So first of all, we have an ex-intercounty GAA player. He's now currently playing competitively in the UAE for Ras Al Khaimah GAA. The second athlete we'll be looking at is an ex-rugby player from the UK. He is now playing rugby on a recreational basis in Ras Al Khaimah in the UAE. And finally, my third athlete is a recreational soccer player and a regular gym. So here we have the first athlete performing the acceleration phase. Here it is slow down. So you can see he has good leg drive, a good arm drive. You'll be able to see in the next couple of snapshots that his angles are pretty good. However, his left arm, he's had a shoulder injury and he's not quite getting the full arm swing as he is in the right arm. But in the next video, you'll be able to see that he gets an improved arm swing. The arm swing is pretty good in this picture to start off, and he's a perfect 90-degree angle at the knee. So I'm pretty happy with his start position. Next video, you'll be able to see it again. In this one, he stands up a little bit early. Again, he's a good start position, but there he just stands up a little bit earlier than the first video. But again, body positions are good. That left arm, I said it to him, and after the first run, and you can see there much improved arm swing with the left. Here we have a look at his snapshot on his second step. So that's a pretty good position for him to be in. Very good knee angle, very good angle of the back leg, good arm drive and a good forward lean. But again, that's only in his second step, so he's standing up from his first video he's standing up slightly early here, but I'm still happy with that positioning. On to the next athlete number 2. He has a couple of issues, so he doesn't quite get as good a knee drive. His arm drive is pretty good, however both his arms come across his body, especially his left arm, and it doesn't swing back, so I put that down to him carrying the ball in the left hand. So here you can see his start position 117 degrees compared to athlete number 1's 90 degrees. So that would be my main issue in this part of the sprint, as everything else is not too bad. Second video of him performing the sprint, or the acceleration phase, you can see here his knee drive is a little bit better, his arm drive is much better with the right arm, but still that left arm isn't going as far back as the right arm. But overall it was a good improvement. You can see there an improvement of 12 degrees of the knee in the first push-off phase, and the next video you'll be able to see his angle and body position is very good, except that front knee, it's a little bit past 90 degrees, but it's better than the first clip. In this snapshot you can see a comparison of both, and athlete number 1 has a much better triple extension and triple flexion than athlete number 2 with the knee angle and the back leg angle and the forward lean. Interestingly, when both athletes stepped on their right foot, their step was everted. So looking at both athletes, athlete number 1's main issue was a capacity issue. As you can see here in his overhead squat, he's leaning really far to his right hand side, so he has a history of hamstring issues on that side. He also has a hip problem, and then the shoulder injury is on the left hand side, so that would also be a capacity issue. Athlete number 2, his issue is mainly technique, but also that being a skill issue, but also a capacity issue with tight hip flexors. Okay, so moving on to agility. So agility is a rapid whole body movement with changes in velocity or direction in response to a stimulus. We're going to be looking at reactive agility in this video. So the athletes were instructed to run to the blue cone, and somebody behind me had a red, orange or a yellow cone, and the athletes had to follow that cone. So you can see here they had to step off either their left or their right foot. So here you can see athlete 2 again has an angle of 150 degrees of flexion when he steps off that right foot, whereas athlete 3 has an angle of 137 degrees of flexion. This means that he's losing a bit of momentum here, so athlete 2 has a much better positioning, as well as his knee position, his left knee position as he steps off, compared to athlete 3 who jumps into the step. You can see here again, athlete 2, much better step off, much better foot position. Athlete 3 lands in an inverted foot position, not ideal, as he could be susceptible to injuries. In the next snapshot you'll be able to see the step off after the landing phase. So athlete 2 had 0.13 of a second less contact time on the ground than athlete 3. So that just goes to show how much more efficient athlete 2 was at stepping. However, athlete 3 has a much better knee drive as he turns with his right knee. So I'll put that down to athlete 2 having hip flexor problems. Okay, so here we have both athletes stepping off their left foot. So in this video I was much happier with athlete number 3 as he didn't jump into the step. He also had a decreased angle of flexion, even though it was just 2 degrees, it was still a decrease. And athlete number 2 had an increased angle of flexion to 147 degrees. So that means he's losing a good bit more momentum in stepping off his left foot compared to athlete number 3. Also, athlete number 3's knee position of his right leg here is much better than athlete number 2, as he's just dragging that back leg through. In this snapshot you can see the landing after the step. So athlete number 3 is landing on the heel of his foot, whereas athlete number 2 is landing on the ball of his foot. However, in the next snapshot you'll be able to see the step off phase, and athlete number 3 was much more efficient at getting off the ground again, and again the knee drive was much better from athlete number 3 compared to athlete number 2. So athlete number 3's main issues, I put them down to a skill issue, as he hadn't got much experience performing agility drills, whereas athlete number 2, again I put his main issue down to capacity and tight hip flexors. Thank you all for watching my vlog number 2 on skills and capacity. That's a, that's a that would be a big problem